light cruiser. Used to be a tier 6 way back in the day, and then Wargaming did the cruiser split. Cleveland took her, I'd say, rightful place as a tier 8 light cruiser for the USN. Fantastic ship. One of the true highlights of the light cruiser line. She comes right after Helena, which is another highlight. And sadly, she moves on to Seattle, where everybody just decides that they made a mistake. So,
Actually, funnily enough, I like Seattle more than Cleveland.
what is wrong with you?
A question that people ask me every day.
You should run a self-diagnostic. Make sure there's no like issues going on.
Yes, make it a level 3 diagnostic, please. So anyway, the Cleveland has both hydro and radar. The radar itself reaches out to 9 kilometer, which is comfortable. Her light cruiser battery of 152 millimeter reloads pretty quick. It's great for starting fires. Beyond that, I don't. Let's see. Can she? She can't penetrate 32 unless she's got IFHE. So she's one of those weird kind of positions where you could take IFHE on her if you wanted to. Welcome back, Armios. Or not. Usually, the problem with a light cruiser like this is that there's no room in the build to add IFHE. You have to sacrifice something more important in order to have slightly better penetration. It's an option, but probably not worth it. Part of the reason why I said the Cleveland is superior to the Seattle is because the ship itself is narrower, therefore a little bit harder to hit. And I believe she's also more maneuverable than the Seattle. The other big thing is the Seattle's turret angles are really abysmal, to where if you want to fire all 4 of the turrets at once, you have to show a good amount of side to do it. So there's some specific use cases for it, but Cleveland is just overall a little bit more comfortable.
So the one difference that I think makes it for me is that Seattle has a heal, whereas Cleveland doesn't.
Yeah, right. She's more forgiving, but she's got such a large hull to trap and explode with those AP shells. It just kind of hurts. She probably does beta flex. She probably has better concealment as well. But hey, you know what? If you can make the ship work for you, great. Find a friend with smoke, or find an island to hide behind. For Seattle, absolutely. Cleveland, you can get away with open watering, but you should still try to find an island to hide behind. Note said this is a great replay to demonstrate just that kind of gameplay, so we'll see. Let's get into your build. So you've got main armaments mod 1, engine room protection, aiming systems, propulsion mod, and concealment. Perfect. Everything is good here. You could pick up the radar module in slot 2. That's the only thing I would suggest. If you love the ship and you play a ton of it, then it's worth investing the coal into it. However, if you don't love the ship, or you only play it a little bit here and there, I wouldn't bother. So I just like to make that distinction. Standard 10-point captain. So you start with consumable specialist. I understand, because you've got the radar and the hydro. It's a good skill. I wouldn't start there, but okay. Priority target, good. Adrenaline rush, okay. And then finally concealment. I would absolutely recommend you start with last stand first. This ship you're gonna.
So that's funny, because this is the build that I asked you about a couple weeks ago on stream, because I was building this to play a game with you, and I was asking you if I should take last stand, and then you said that you didn't think it was strictly necessary for Cleveland.
Okay, I don't recall that conversation. I'm sorry, but that must have been a long time ago. Maybe it was when we were doing asymmetric, right?
No, we were doing random battles at
Okay.
Yeah, we were doing random battles, I think.
So the thing about Cleveland is, if she loses her engine or rudder, it can be catastrophic, and you need the ability to maneuver around. Yeah, Cthulhu, Grunty might have been the one that said it. That sounds like a very Grunty response, to be frank. No offense to Grunty. Personally, I always start with last stand on light cruisers. For heavy cruisers, depending on the playstyle, you might get away with not choosing last stand. But especially if you can, like, in randoms where you're tier locked to 8 in this case, it's probably also okay to ignore last stand. But if you take this into randoms and you can see tier 10 games, I mean, you have a good chance of losing your engines. So I would generally recommend last stand first. Consumable specialist is good to take as well, but I think last stand would be a good first pick, and then you can go in and pick it up later.
Okay.
The problem is when do you pick it up, because you don't want to get it right away next. You want to go for other skills later. The other one, that's true Cthulhu co-op. You can lose engines as well quite easily. The other skill that I might have done differently is Adrenaline Rush. I might have picked Survivability Expert first. It doesn't have a heal, so Superintendent loses a little bit of value there. But having the extra hit point in conjunction with the hit point flag, it just comes in really handy. Adrenaline Rush is always sexy too. I would just not pick it first. I would absolutely put that on my list of what to take. So I would have done like this to start. And then, because your concealment is 9.3 and your radar reaches out to 9, that's a very small bubble for you to be detected, push your radar, and not detect something. I would absolutely go for a radiolocation, especially in ranked. Great for hunting down destroyers and subs.
Yeah, that's why I love the radar in the Baltimore, because the radar range and detection range are the same thing, so I can just pop radar and smack whoever is spotting me.
Yep. I know a lot of people suggest top grade gunner instead. I don't think top grade gunner is nice to get your DPM up, but at the end of the day, your ability to find and hunt destroyers far outweighs, especially in ranked, the ability to do a little bit more damage. So I'd probably go here.
Yeah, that
And
makes
then-
sense.
and
Also,
that's-
the Cleveland's detection isn't very high, so
Right, so you're not getting much use out of top grade anyway. From there, Adrenaline Rush is great. Now you don't. I mean, you could take Superintendent for the extra charge of consumables, but here I want to highlight something really important. This is where you now have to decide, do you really want Consumable Specialist? Because if you do, now you're locking yourself into 3 points or less. Or if you want to do more damage, you could still take Top Grade Gunner, which is handy for hunting down destroyers. You radar, you spot them, you're spotted, something's within your range, so that helps your main battery. So DACA. So you could do that. I don't recommend it as much, but you could take IFHE. Lord Maruk wanted me to do a Zat chat about IFHE, and at some point I will, especially once he's here. So you could do that for the DPM. If you're good at switching to AP, the Cleveland AP is still pretty decent, so you could always go heavy AP. Something like that. But you see where I mean about, like, you have to really kind of plan out how you want to set the ship up. Consumables enhancements would be great because this helps with your radar. So you could do that for utility for the ship. And then, pick grease the gears or something else. You've never lost your engines. That said, go ahead.
I would probably pick up Gunfeeder.
Gunfeeder's not a bad choice. What's the caliber requirement? Oh, good point. It's got to be 190 and above, so this won't help you at all. Thank you, Betaflex. So forget heavy AP. Yeah, so, Gunfeeder is fine. She's got pretty good reload, right? 6.5 seconds. So if you think about it, Gunfeeder, it'll help you a little bit,
and I
but
see her turret traverse is like 18 seconds.
right. And you could always do grease. And this is like so late in your build that by this point, unless you love the Cleveland so much that you're playing it like 24/7, you're probably never going to get here anyway, right? But
Right.
I might go grease the gears just for close in, combat or something. SAT, what do you think?
Remind me, is this supposed to be for Cleveland only, or is it going for Seattle?
Well, so I mean, I have like I've worked up the light cruiser line, so I already have a Seattle captain. So
Okay. Let's see. After the let's like so far it looks like I don't really see anything too big. Personally, I don't run Last Stand, but in this case, it's probably okay for Seattle. I'm just not sure. Yeah, I'm just not too sure what else you can invest in. Like, I wouldn't invest in AA for Cleveland just because you don't really have the HP to keep taking airstrikes over and over. You're not going to use like the spotter plane, or at least you shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And of course, you have no
right.
torps. So the last alternative would really be just Demolition Expert.
Yeah. For that 1% fire chance, yeah.
Yeah, given her output of shells, she actually can get some decent use out of it.
Okay. And then for signal flags here, you've gone for ramming, fire chance, fire reduction, ship speed, consumables, anti-air, and hydro. It's fine. I'd probably take if you have it, the HP flag more so than hydro. I think that's going to give you more use in ranked. Hey, Gary. That's about it, though.
Fair.
Yeah. Always put the HP flag on everything. That's literally an extra 5% better survivability, which your ship absolutely needs.
Yeah, it's hard to go wrong with the HP flag, especially if you don't have a heal. And that comes back to why I value survivability expert even more so than adrenaline rush for your build because you don't have a heal. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's get to your replay then. Also, flooding recovery could be helpful just because of the number of subs you might see in ranked, but I just wanted to bring that up as a possible consideration.
Right.
Okay. Let's get into your replay, and I'll get things going on the Stream Raiders. And hello, Seabear. How are you?
You know, as
Happy
a
Sunday.
side note,
Mm-hmm.
the flooding flag is generally not considered useful, right?
The what flag?
The flooding prevention flag. So most players don't think it's very useful.
Mm-hmm.
But what if you add in another effect that it reduces submarine ping duration by like a few seconds?
Okay, I'm gonna suggest that to Wargaming. I love it. I love it. Let's look at your lineup here. So Tennessee, Lennon, Tirpitz, Edinburgh, Akizuki, Le Terrible. Okay. You don't have to worry about him for concealment so much. Akizuki obviously can be sitting in smoke. Edinburgh probably going to be using smoke instead of radar, but he could use radar. Tirpitz, Tennessee, Lennon. I'd be very scared of the Tennessee in open water. Lennon, he's probably going to look for opportunity shots, but okay. And then Tirpitz, obviously, with the secondaries. Glad you made it home, Seabear. You've got Fantask, Cossack, Tirpitz, Massachusetts, and Iparanga. I like your battleship lineup better because all three of these are secondary. That helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I notice here, okay, this is arms race battle. Both buffs are on this side of the map, so I'm thinking straight basically for that island, which I found basically on this map in ranked battles, I always go for this island almost.
Mm-hmm. This is a good position for a radar cruiser. You typically want to play here. You have to be very careful, though, because this part of the island, see how it's really flat? So this part of the island, because it's so flat, if you back up too far, you allow for shells to go over the island and hit you. Right over that flat part. So you have to be very cautious there.
And so here in chat, I suggest that at least one of our battleships stay east more, so to provide a crossfire.
Mm-hmm. Where'd that go? It's helpful. And, we don't see the chat as easily now because I moved, the stream chat over. But yeah, it's a good idea. But if you look at it, your battleship's just moving straight to the middle, and they're all secondary battleships. So I guess just let them mash the keyboard in peace, and go and do other things. I don't know.
You should have slowed down immediately as soon as
Yeah.
you got into cover. Because you could have whaled an Akazuki a bit longer, and you weren't under threat from the battleships.
Yep. This is similar to the other replay you sent in on Sleeping Giant on the Italian destroyer, right? Where you had the opportunity to slow down a little
Right.
bit and
Yep.
do a little bit more damage.
Good job getting the Akazuki out early.
Right.
That's huge. Now the big thing is you need to stop. Now, and the reason I just highlighted that for you is because, now this is another example of that. So it's something I think to try to ask yourself, kind of add it into your queue of things to ask yourself, right? Like, am I in any threat? I'm not? Okay,
Good
I can
idea.
afford to slow
Good idea.
down, I like this Edinburgh. I might... Lennon coming out too... I might have AP in the barrels just in case, but never mind. You got the terrible.
Oh, I see the terrible is what I'm seeing coming, and so I have the HE for him.
Yeah.
So, what is your plan now that you've gone to the island?
Basically, just stay on this island for the duration of the battle. That's what basically ends up happening.
Okay.
I'm poking around here, able to shoot him, not spotted.
Yeah,
he's
and this is smart.
reversing, so I know that, even with engine boost, it's still going to take him a few seconds to go from reversing to forward, so I know that I can shoot him pretty much at will here.
Yep. Universe in my hand, thank you for the follow. Welcome on in. I want to take a moment to highlight something, and I paused the replay. You've got a Lenin that's moving up pretty aggressive. You need to be thinking about backing up.
Yep. That
As like you do.
I am having the exact same thought.
Also, you don't
And
have any
there I go.
support. Like, he won't
Right,
die
and
anytime
I'm actually
soon.
about to say in chat, I know the only thing that is preventing this Lenin from pushing me is the threat of torpedoes from the Cossack.
Yep.
And I see that the Cossack's kind of moving away from me, so I'm going to state in chat for him not to leave me that his torpedo threat is basically the only thing that's going to keep this Lenin from pushing me.
Yeah, as he dumps torpedoes right now at Tennessee. Feels bad, brother, but that's all right. Bottom Crab, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome on in.
He just needs to think there's a torpedo threat. That's enough.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, really, if he's not paying attention and he thinks that, and there, no, that isn't. Well,
No.
that's Massachusetts saying that the Lenin is looking for it.
right,
Lenin
but
can't know that Cossack launched torps, so you're safe for now.
right, but at the same time,
Right, and
you
then there's
said
me
don't leave me.
saying,
No, this is good. This is good teamwork. And the big thing is that the enemy team is also kind of bottling themselves up here. If one battleship was more wide, then this would be very risky. But this is also why I always tell people in ranked, splitting up for battleships is important. You need to look for crossfire opportunities and also opportunities to, project your power, right?
Yep. Because now, instead of playing ring around the rosy with one battleships, you're effectively doing it with your entire team.
Yep, and that allows you to reposition to here where you can farm them. General Andrew Jackson. It's a great name.
and coming up is basically I need to pay some money to Wargaming for my fire RNG chance.
Well, yes, you do. Also, you've lost both of the battleships that overpushed. Your Massachusetts decided to hit the brakes and not tell his teammates, so that's nice of him.
Well, you need to start farming down one of the battleships so you don't get stuck in a crossfire.
Yeah, I'm concerned about this Tirpitz moving forward. Now you're on Hydro, so you can't really stay there, as secondaries are going to open up on you soon. I might
They
start...
don't have the arcs.
They don't have the arcs, no, but, I mean,
You
that's
need
just a
to-
consideration.
you need the turbines.
Alternately, you could look for this this Edinburgh who's probably in smoke.
Oh,
So I think I just detected him on a hydro.
You did.
Torpedoes to port.
so your gun should have still be pointing south. Next time when you're going out of view, just hold down the right mouse button so you don't take your guns off the sector you're supposed to be looking
Yeah,
at.
I'm not very good at doing the free look thing. Something I need to work on.
Hey, just practice it. You'll get
All
it
stations,
eventually.
concentrate fire on the
And so now I'm noticing the linen is pushing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna back up here.
And that is why you wanted to farm the turbines earlier. Just
Yep.
because he was holding down that middle flank. Now that he's
Yep.
out, you can not die to Lenin or turbines.
And again, this is the power of Battleship projecting their power, because Lenin is projecting his power as he advances, but nobody's projecting their power on the enemy team on the other side of you, which allows you just to back up. You don't care.
If Massa is smart, he would just take the ram on the Lenin.
But yep.
Yep. And now you've got the
And I
ability to
wait
sit
until
here.
I wait until the Laterable is dead before I use the DCP, because I don't want the whole problem solved, sir. The ship is on fire.
Yep. Yep.
You didn't see torps. I would also have held it until torps were confirmed spotted.
Yep.
I never even considered that, but that's a good point. And the Massachusetts did ram the London.
Yep. He did.
That's good.
Yep. Now here, I would move forward and get the heal, because it's
Yeah,
literally right in
this-
front of you.
This is kind of greeting. So Tennessee knows you're still there. He wants to get your kill. He wants to get the kill so he can save the star. So this is a bit on the greedy side.
The other thing is that
Yeah, he just took a blind shot at me.
He did. The other thing about it is you get the heal to help your teammates, right? I mean, Cossack and Fantastic are pretty healthy anyways, but you've got 3 ships that are going to tick up on heal, versus the enemy team. So I think it's worth picking up the heal for the just playing the long game. Even though you're up on 2 ships, it's ranked, and anything can happen in ranked.
Or
Right.
you
I
don't
think
even.
at this point I was so tunnel visioned on, keeping the island between me and the Tennessee that I wasn't even thinking about the heal buff in front of me.
Well, your opportunity to get the heal is gone. So it was like you have to do that right then, or stay on the island
at all.
and keep hugging it. Right. You could, believe it or not, actually, because of the angle he's giving you, you could have switched to AP and tried to get some bow pens. It doesn't really matter. He's so low anyway. I'm just saying for practice.
Yeah, that's,
there's the win.
Again, that didn't even occur to me.
Yeah, no, this is a good example of using the island as your waifu, like you said. It's also a good example of the team not projecting their power, the enemy team, enabling you to just keep doing what you were doing. So,
Right.
we were talking about buying fire RNG. I think you need to buy some time for premium for the enemy team that allows you to do that.
Yeah, a few paid actors there.
Yeah, first place. I mean, you got the Akazuki out. I mean, that was the huge, because that enabled your battleships to just, face roll through the middle. 2 of them died, but it's secondary battleships. It's ranked. It's bronze. That's what you see
Yeah, I
in
think
ranked.
the Akazuki made a mistake by playing as aggressive as it did when there was a radar ship on the enemy team.
Oh, 100%. 100%. But, I mean,
So-
it's ranked.
And he should have known better. He's in the Akazuki, the slowest destroyer at the tier. And radar cruisers do like that spot you went to is pretty common.
Yep.
So, and I assume if he's in TNG, he has some ranked experience where enemy teams do love to put cruisers there. So that's really a
Right.
mistake I don't expect from him.
Right. But, hey, it's ranked. Mistakes happen. So, there you go. And look, the Tennessee saved a star by 7 base XP. So, that random hit that he got on you is probably what saved his star. Oh, maybe not. It was only 1,000. Well, he did get a base decap off you too, maybe? I don't remember. But anyways, whatever. Either way, it's a good game for you. And, it's a nice showcase of the power of that island. So I do appreciate looking at it. Let's look at the replay render.
But looking back on this now, you are right that if the enemy team had played that better, I wouldn't have been able to play the way that I had.
That's the hardest part. That's the hardest part about being in your position. When you're playing that island, you are so praying that the enemy team can't get around on your flank. So yes. We could use a title for this, and also we have a giveaway going, so you need to be a follower of the channel on Twitch, and you need to have said something in chat. Just write anything in chat. Gets you in now. You've got 5 minutes, a little bit less now, to get in. If you're on YouTube, this is on Twitch only. You need to just hop on over to Twitch real quick, log in if you haven't, or create an account, whatever. Follow the channel, and write something in chat. Concept playing the island was amusing to watch. It was. But you could also see how, like, you can think about how, like, frustrating it probably was for the enemy at the same time, right?
Mm-hmm. The two enemy battleships did die on the 6 line, but they did save you from getting flanked, potentially getting flanked at all on the 7-8 line.
Mm-hmm.
So, in a sense, they did their job.
Mm-hmm. And Neko, anytime, you're always welcome to send replays in, you know that. Hey, Weekend Warrior, Merry Christmas to you as well. This is my island. You could always shorten it to just my island, but yeah, I like it.
We're near. So when you're
amusingly,
on
amusingly, I'm at like rank 4 right now in the current sprint. I've played only Cleveland games, and so far I have yet to lose a game. So Cleveland's been treating me well this sprint.
It's all about killing that destroyer as soon as you can. So yeah.
If it works, then.
Sorry, SAT, I cut you off.
So always with islands. So with islands, you basically. So you can stop them from approaching on one area, but you can't do it on 2.
Mm-hmm.
So, since you're keeping track of Lenin, and you saw that the Tirpitz and Tennessee were lower on the south side, you needed to back up a little bit more and apply more firepower a bit earlier. Secure one side, then you can just keep backing up with when Lenin
maybe
pushed
I
in.
brought my front guns into it instead of just relying on my back guns.
I would play. Sometimes I don't play on the island, like literally hugging it. I play a little bit off, so you can get the guns to arc over the island. That's one of the times where I would do that.
Oh, okay. So you're a little bit farther away from the island, so that your front guns can arc over that flat part in the rear. That makes sense.
Yeah. You don't need to literally hug the island. You just need it to block vision.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right. Yeah, the island did take a lot of my shots during the course of this battle. So yeah, getting it to arc over the island because I was so close was difficult.
Mm-hmm. But, when you come away from the island, you also lose some of the island's ability to block vision. So, it's a bit of a nuanced thing. Like, this replay is a great example of that opportunity the enemy gave you to do that. But if their battleships were a little bit more spread out, you probably would feel less comfortable with that idea.
Right.
Poor island indeed, Mr. October. You could do island camping. And hey, there's nothing wrong with camping if it gets you the win. And the enemy team has to get you out of the camp, and they didn't. That's their problem, not yours.
Yeah, that's pretty much the play style of both lines of the American cruisers, is being an annoying tick on an island that they have to expend resources to remove.
Yep, exactly. All right, well, let's go ahead and drop that replay render. And hey, thank you, Note, for sending the replay in. It was a good replay to take a look at you.
Thank you.